Congressman Ron Paul joins us in the fourth hour today, coming up in an hour and 52 minutes. For the balance of that time, though, before he joins us, we have Steve Quayle, best-selling author, syndicated radio host, researcher, survivalist. Steve wrote books back in the mid-'90s about how they would use a genetically engineered flu as their pretext and cover to bring in world government, because it makes everyone guilty. See, first they build the police state control grid Northcom in the name of fighting Al-Qaeda, the globalist creation, on record. Sybil Edmonds, FBI translator, on record that Al-Qaeda was working for the CIA and FBI and Defense Intelligence right up to 9/11. And all these other documents that have come out, they flew them out to safety. That's Times of London. Once they've got their system set up, then they announce, oh, it's for the American people. Oh, there's terrorists. And all over the news. Remember in the Missouri papers, 2 weeks ago? In fact, I'll pull that out and put it on screen later. The Army is now writing articles for local newspapers saying, oh, we're running checkpoints in the town. We're trying to protect the town from militia attacks. So we're going to be searching your cars. This is in the news all over the country. They just announced that they're going to be running drills and checkpoints in the towns, searching you to fight the militia, the American government. See, suddenly, Northcom admits its main enemy is the American people. Now, this is perfect cover to pass the banking takeover, the new Bank of the World they want to set up in October. It's perfect timing in October to pass the anti-gun bills they've got introduced, the cap and trade through the Senate. That's what they're saying. Everything's going to happen in October, November. Obama's approval rating's plunging. They've got to get it done by then. They're saying this. Now, here's some background. I want Steve Quayle to talk about this first, then we'll go through what's happening in the future. I went on air in January, February, and March. We had emergency managers from towns on. We had reporters on where the feds were building mass graves, where the feds were preparing local cemeteries for hundreds of thousands dead per town, where the feds were telling police departments, harden yourselves for IED attacks, terror attacks. The American people are going to attack you. They would do drills with the feds, where the local police would guard the flu vaccine coming in. And I said, folks, it appears they're going to play a flu card as the next stage false flag. I said, call the White House, call Congress, tell them don't do it. Then, in April, they launch. They say, end of the world, hundreds of millions are going to die. And I said, wait a minute, hardly anybody's dying. This is genetically engineered, though. Scientists were already saying. What's the deal? Is this a psychological primer for the fall? Then Napolitano comes out and says, it will happen in the fall. It will happen in October. They love telling you what they're going to do. And so now we see it's the perfect cover. Now, all over the country, they're telling banks, schools, Walmart, anything in infrastructure protection through InfraGard, this secret network of 50-plus thousand spooks and spies for the feds in industry and business and government. Water treatment plants, power plants, anything in infrastructure. They're now expanding that out to hundreds of thousands where everything's infrastructure. License to kill. Kill your employees. Kill whoever we order you to kill. That's mainstream news. InfraGard. They have the clergy response teams going back 3 years ago. We got the secret documents. Since confirmed, mainstream news, but they say it's good. The clergy response teams training and telling their flocks it's of God. Take the flu shot. Take the smallpox. Take the anthrax shot. Turn in your guns. Let them take your children. Go to the FEMA camp. Go to the relocation camp. We've played those clips over and over again. Exactly what we showed you in the documents years later announced in the news, because they're getting ready to go operational. Suddenly, troops to run checkpoints for drunk drivers, troops to run checkpoints for gun checks in Illinois, troops to run checkpoints for militias that want to attack the National Guard. Just out of the blue. This is in the newspapers. Why is all this happening? Because our system of government is falling. We're going into foreign bank receivership. Now, we hope in the choices of bad to worse that they just hype it to inject people with sterilization compounds and cancer viruses and to make tens of billions off these vaccines. That's on the bad, but not the worse. They could actually put out something that kills a bunch of people to really create a panic so more people take the shots that have the soft kills that the White House science czar talks about and says they're going to put in your vaccines and put in your water. I mean, they're not playing games. They may go with the mass culling. I believe, though, it's just going to be more fear-mongering to train us to go under level 6 under UN control and to get people to take the soft kill shots and to practice having troops on the streets for bigger biological releases in the future. Because their psychological tactic is create a crisis, restrict, people resist, back off a little but not as much. Then squeeze in again. The people say, we've had enough. They back off a little. Then as soon as our resistance dissipates, they squeeze again. We get angry. They back off a little. And over time, they squeeze us. That's the psychology.